Hi, my name is Ben. I'm 20 years old from London and I'm responsible for the allocation and coordination of housing on site. So on Friday last week the government announced that they were eager to clear about 20% of the camp. That was then enlarged to about 30% of the camp on the next Monday, and they said we only had 3 days to clean it. So we set to work pretty quickly and it seems the government saw that we were willing to move people and that there wasn't any need for a big fight, and so they pushed the deadline a few days further. So we expect that tomorrow on Monday the government will come in with bulldozers and start clearing up.
And what's the purpose of that?
Well, I think there's two main reasons. The biggest reason is simply that the government want to clear the camp in the short-term future. The more immediate reason they claim is because they want people to be away from the motorways.
So you're expecting that tomorrow, Monday morning. What have you been doing? What final checks have you been making over the last 24 hours?
Well, so we announced to the refugees that this was going to happen, and we let them decide what they were going to do. There was quite a lot of call for resistance against the government, and very rightly so. This camp is tolerated by the French government. It's been tolerated for almost a year now, and there have been people who have been living in shelters in the land that's to be cleared for over 6 months. The government announced that they were going to clear the houses of probably 250 women and at least 50 children, and also probably 1,200 men or so. So although there was some call for resistance, people don't want to fight. You know, they're refugees already. They're unfortunately used to having to flee from situations because they don't want to fight. And it was very telling, the contrast between the way the French see it, which is coming in and bulldozing people's houses, and some very, very well-read, erudite Sudanese people and Kurdish people who didn't want to have a fight about it and were happy to move.
And how did you find space for more people in the camp itself, in other parts of the camp?
Well, it was a bit of a struggle because the government didn't actually give us any assistance at all, just a few days, so we rushed in some bulldozers and cleared away just enough space for people to move in. And then we had a monumental volunteer effort over the last few days, hundreds of people involved helping the refugees move their houses.
And the camp is split into different sections by culture, ethnicity, nationality.
Yeah.
Has this disrupted that system?
Well, we were certainly worried that it might. It's a fine balance in the camp with 15 different nationalities. I think, fortunately, we've managed to keep communities roughly together, although we're very worried. We don't know. I think the government doesn't realise the potential for conflict within the camp. They just see it as the mass of the jungle where anything goes, where in fact there is a very big difference between a jungle where people are living fairly peacefully and a jungle in which people are fighting.